Please make sure to subscribe and hit this bell icon and say all and save. And that's all you need so you don't miss my pretty face. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Sagittarius Ascendant video, as in Sagittarius Navamsa Rising Ascendant video. Because this video we're going to discuss what happens when you have Sagittarius Ascendant Rising in your Navamsa chart, the D9 chart, the most important chart in Vedic astrology. It kind of shows about the strength of your planets, the second half of your life, your internal nature that comes out later in life, and your married life, what you experience through marriage, what you experience through, in company with another person. Because literally Navamsa kind of shows that will your spouse lead you to your spiritual ashram. So that's what we're going to discuss. And as always, if you do not know if you have Navamsa or Sagittarius Navamsa and what your other astrological details are, what your actual Navamsa ascendant is, for that check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, Astrology, Conjunction, Aspects, and Mahadashas of the Speed of Light, including all my consultations at this link. So, Sagittarius Ascendant. So, the way Sagittarius Navamsa comes is through fire, air, and water ascendants in the birth chart. That means if you have, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius ascendant in the birth chart. If you have Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius ascendant in the birth chart, or you have Cancer and Scorpio or Pisces ascendant in the birth chart, at a certain degree, at a certain first patha of a certain nakshatra rising in the ascendant, it'll land you into the Sagittarius ascendant in the Navamsa. And you don't really have to calculate it now because all these things are calculated for you in softwares and in reports that you get through me. Where on the second page, you will see your birth chart. And at the bottom of that birth chart, you will see your Navamsa and your moon chart. So you'll know exactly what ascendant is rising there. And you got to understand Sagittarius is a sign related to dharma, righteous deeds. It's about religion, spirituality, teachers, preachers, counselors, advisors, being a scholar. It's about learning. But it's not just about learning. It's not about basic learning. Basic learning are second house, fourth house, and fifth house. How to eat, what to say somebody when they come to your door, like you say namaste or you say hello. It's about, oh, I live on Earth and these are the planets and these are, the trees. Those are like basic things that you need to understand when you're here. Now, Sagittarius really represents the knowledge after that. Okay, so now let's ask the real questions here. Who am I? Why am I here? What's the purpose of this place? What are gods and goddesses? It's about dwelling into philosophy, philosophical discussions. It's about going to your true knowledge, which is your spiritual knowledge through a guru. That's Sagittarius. So it's a fire sign. It's a fire sign of creation. To learn about creation, to learn about your ancestors, to learn about your lineage. And so fire transfers into fire. That means throughout life, especially if you have Vargottama, meaning the same ascendant in the birth and Navamsa, which is Sagittarius, you're going to live this exact same karmic existence in the first and second half of your life. From Aries and Leo, it'll be going from more of being aggressive and creative to more dharmic. First half of life could be full of impulses, full of jumping into things, full of being competitive. That's the fire. Then that fire changes into wanting to jump into things related to knowledge. Because you still have that birth chart. Remember, you're still that Aries ascendant. But now instead of impulsively jumping into businesses, relationships, competitive pursuits. Now you impulsively jump into religious pursuits, spiritual pursuits. And remember, this doesn't mean that you're a good person. You can become a fanatic with Sagittarius ascendant. If Aries goes into Sagittarius, that could be a chart of a fanatic. Somebody who is very fundamentalist, like, because it's that sword of Mars with a book of Jupiter. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So you got the sword and the book. And if one does not listen to the book that you have, you will cut their throat. So it's never a good thing, you know. Then you go from air to fire, and especially fire of Sagittarius, which is a sacrificial fire to burn your ego. Because your ego started with Sagittarius, or I mean with Aries. It went to its creative dynamic into Leo, but then it gets distinguished in Sagittarius. Like, okay, you got to burn yourself to really understand what God is. So now you go from air to this sacrificial fire. You're going from collecting information, dealing with information, communication, relationships of all kinds, to finally understand that through these elements of air, whichever ascendant you have, you will now learn about true nature of existence. Same thing with water. Through your psychic emotions, through your ability to go deep into the waters of yourself, of other people, understanding your true nature, now you are ready to understand the fire of sacrifice, the fire of God. So water ascendant to Sagittarius ascendant is actually a very, very strong sign of a person who quite becomes saintly. Because as a water sign, you're already trying to dissolve and understand your true self by dissolving and becoming water. But now you're also willing to sacrifice your ego, because water has no ego anyway. But now with Sagittarius, you're ready to dissolve it and figure out who you are. But now if we just go back to Sagittarius itself, the Sagittarius ascendant, one thing I will let you know is that I will share maybe some negative information here with Sagittarius. So if you do not want to hear it, you may not want to listen to anything beyond this point. Okay? But if you do, if you're okay with learning it, then please watch it. But just don't blame me or why you said this on your video. So I'm actually telling you, just don't watch it. So having a Sagittarius ascendant in Navamsa obviously shows that a person, through marriage, through second half of life, whether you're married or not, doesn't matter. Through second half of your life, you become this natural scholar. Like I explained, you're just going to want to be an actual teacher, counselor, advisor. You're going to believe in law of the land, law of the cosmos, laws of the nature. You want to abide by such laws. But again, depending upon the planetary placement, you can become a complete fanatic and fundamentalist about those things. Like, for example, you could be a vegan, right? But look what just happened at YouTube headquarters. This vegan Persian girl, I think she was Persian, went there and shot someone because her videos weren't being monetized. You know, it becomes like, and she was a vegan, they're like, oh, they're suppressing me from this veganism message and blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm just going to shoot. So it is a fire that really shows the true higher self of us, but that fire could be like, you know, filled with chemicals if a certain planet is there. So, but your inner true nature is simply, without planets, is really wanting to just learn, wanting to follow a righteous path. Being a vegan is a righteous path, but once you start cutting other people's throat on that, then it's no longer a righteous path. And such people are very, very careful with money. For them, they are very secure about having fixed amount of assets, fixed amount of money in their account. For them, they do not want too much money. They want enough money to get by and to be able to live the life that they want to live. And they become quite stingy with savings. Like for them, they want to save maximum amount of their paycheck in savings. take the least amount for bills and entertainment. But they naturally have this fear that, you know, what if I lose a job? What if this happens and I'm going to lose my wealth and money? And so through marriage, they're able to accumulate a lot of money. Their status comes through their money. But it's the status that they don't really care for, because their first status is that, hey, I'm here to learn now. I want to know, and I want to teach. And especially, they love communicating. Especially within the marriage, their communication becomes much more about the collective consciousness. They always want to communicate about the betterment of society, betterment of, you know, people around them. Within the marriage itself, their communication is all about, you know, how they have this idea of a utopian society. They always try to talk to people, their spouse, how everybody needs to share, how everybody needs to do this. So in a way, their communication can become a little, you know, eccentric and loose, but it's just they're looking at things from a very dharmic perspective. And especially when it comes to their home life, they're very peaceful. They find the most peace. They find the most happiness within the home that they build with their spouse, or the home that they live in the second half of life. Their home life will become much more, you know, calm. They'll be able to get rid of their stress of the day by just coming home and being in home. And especially their home may have the least amount of amenities, least amount of things, just very simple furniture, simple things, you know, in their room. Because for them, their home will be filled with, first of all, knowledge, and especially spiritual knowledge. Like whether you're a tech CEO, whether you're a lawyer, you'll have like books like Autobiography of a Yogi, to J. Krishnamurti's book, to Osho Rajneesh's book. For you, it's about finding that peace and tranquility and, you know, having knowledge instead of furniture. However, they can become aggressive with their, they can become aggressive with their intelligence. When it comes to dealing with marriage, they're, okay, do this or this can happen. They become quite fiery and impulsive when it comes to dealing with intelligence of how to deal with issues of marriage. Their intelligence, either, first of all, they are very quick solving in terms of their problems. Either they cut things off, or they will try to resolve it right there and then. And this is where they can have issues of communication, because their communication becomes very fiery if they get agitated in issues or problem of relationships. They think very individually that, okay, either I have to get my view across because I am the person who knows everything. Because why? I'm a Sagittarius ascendant. I know more than my spouse. So they must listen to me. There's nothing about sharing, because what I'm saying is not my intelligence, it's God's intelligence. So don't question it. That's how they think when they deal with issues of marriage. And usually they try to have the most minimal amount of debt. Usually their debts are very fixed within the marriage. They may just have a house and a car. They usually do not like having credit card debts. Why? Because of the fact they fear that if I have debt, I cannot save money. So Sagittarius people, most of the time, they will have the least amount of debt in their life. Now, when it comes to the actual partner and marriage, Sagittarius ascendant people can have multiple relationships. They can have multiple marriages. Why is that? Because the seventh from the Sagittarius sign is the duality of the twins. Twins, meaning one thing split in two, right? So this is something I've seen literally 90% of the time with Sagittarius people who And this is the 90% of people who have had more than one relationship or more than one marriage. I'm not saying all Sagittarius. This is the one that I've discovered, that their first and second spouse are always identical in behavior, identical in nature, identical in everything that they're doing. And they're okay with it. They're comfortable with it. But they're always finding, they're like, oh my God, I feel like I've just married my ex again. And usually people don't get to find that out until they're actually married, or living together. That's when you see, oh, wow, this person's the exact same twin of my ex-husband or ex-wife. But such people are very emotionally connected psychically with their spouse, with the other person that in their life. Such people also have a very small emotional connection with their spouse's family. They could actually have a past life connection with spouse's family. And such people are very enthusiastic about hidden knowledge, occult, mysticism. They do realize that mysticism is part of the intelligence that I'm gathering. But like I said, Sagittarius can become a fundamentalist. They are very fixed on their beliefs. When they're said, I believe in this thing and I will die for it, they will really die for it. And their ability to believe in religion and spirituality only comes through the lineage. They tend to always follow the lineage more than some outside source. So let's say if you're a Muslim with Sagittarius ascendant, you're only going to want to view the views of Islam and find your tranquility in there than you reading Bhagavad Gita or reading Vedas or Tao Te Ching. So you'll try to find even tranquility in there. If you're a Hindu, for you nothing else matters except that Vedas, Krishna, Hanuman, whomever, and that's passed down from the lineage. Where certain other ascendant rather have a foreign influence of spirituality and religion and belief than their own. So that's where they can become very strong about it, depending upon the planetary placement. They're very, very methodical, very detail-oriented with their career. Their reputation to the public about their marriages that these are very hardworking couple. They're very professional, hardworking. They are always giving to the society. They're always wanting to do good in society. Whether intentionally, internally, they have other intentions, but that's the reputation they get. And their friend circle becomes, huge. They actually gain through their professional network circles. They gain through their, professional friends in life. And they always have the best of relationships with their, colleagues, with their friends, with the people in the large organization. They always tend to get the most gain. Somehow they always make network circles with people who, hey, I can have you get this promotion and get this job or get this business opportunity. But especially when it comes to their bed pleasures, there's always some karmic things that happens with their bed pleasure. Either they themselves may not have that sexual desire, or the spouse that they marry may not have the strong sexual desire, or the sexual desire is so much that they may have this porn star-like relationships. And their bed pleasure can be quite karmic from some childhood experiences. And they only like to travel to very exotic and especially very mystical places for vacation. For them, it's all about wanting to expand their horizon by visiting places that not many people want to visit. Most people want to go to Disney World in Florida and Las Vegas. They're the people who want to go to Machu Picchu, Peru. They're the people who want to go to Sedona. They're the people who want to go to Tamil Nadu and go to all these Shiva temples. Okay. So this is my analysis of Sagittarius ascendant. But remember, once we get into the dynamics of planetary placements, that's when you'll truly understand what exactly is happening. So like I've been saying, that split marriage can happen. Well, that may not happen depending upon the planetary placement. Okay. So I hope this has helped and given some insight into your Navamsa. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss my future videos. And for consultations, readings, check out the links here. And I know I just 2 took off one of my consultations because I'm like way overbooked with that for literally the next 3-4 weeks. So I won't be bringing it back. Only in 2-3 weeks I will reopen one of them, and I may open something new maybe by tomorrow Sunday. So just check there and see if you find any updates for the new consultation. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.